Hey, everybody! This is Kevin Purcell with the Theotek Podcast, and we're sort of hit a bit of a milestone. It's number 30, if that's any big deal to anyone. But today we thought we might be talking about using cloud storage and creating your own cloud storage. But the person that was going to come and talk to us about that hasn't joined us yet. That's LaRosa. He's not a regular, but often time. Well, maybe no, that was Antoine popped up. Anyway. But this morning we've got our regulars with us today. Wes, say hello, Wes.
Hi.
And Rick is there from Louisiana this morning.
Good morning.
And Antoine, I believe you're down still in Charlotte. He says yes.
Here.
All right. Well, I am in the mountains of North Carolina. Excuse me, the mountains of North Carolina. Banner Elk. Beautiful, beautiful place. I'm looking out the front door of the condo we rented for the weekend, and I can see the fog burning off the mountains over there, and it's just a lovely morning. And so I am interrupting my short little weekend vacation to hang out with you guys and wondering why in the world would I ever do that. No, I'm kidding.
I'm wondering why you would ever do that, but that's okay.
But anyway, so we... if you hear some clanking of dishes, my wife's cooking my breakfast on one side of me and my son is snoring on the other. But we're having a good time. This morning, though, we want to talk about, we've got a bit of an exclusive, and that is something releasing soon from Accordance. And Rick tells us that this is the first time it's been seen publicly outside of the inner sanctum of the Accordance offices. So, Rick, take it away.
Okay, let me share my screen. And the entire screen. So you're looking at my screen now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
there you go.
Close this, and this is a title called Virtual Bible. And I don't even have, I mean, it's, we're supposed to release it Monday, and this is, I think this is a near final build of it. Some of this content has been seen elsewhere. It may be in some other Bible software, but we got permission from the publisher to enhance it, and so you'll notice, for instance, it now says edited by David Lang. David Lang works for us, and this is, and you know, I don't even have an official description yet, but I highlighted this in the introduction: three-dimensional reconstructions of the land of Israel, the city of Jerusalem at the time of Herod, and the town of Capernaum at the time of Jesus, and it says in here somewhere that this is supposed to be kind of a project in process, so it may be that we will see other items added to this over time. But you know, this is there's a lot of these materials that we have that include you know, geography and reconstructions of, and of course, you know, any of these type of sites that's taken, I believe, from some satellite imagery. But one thing that's kind of neat in this is some of the video that we have that lets you do kind of a walkthrough through some of these regions. Let me see if this is one of them, and you'll have to let me turn up the size of this too. So I don't know how well this is showing up, but let me turn up the size of the print. That might help. But like I said, I've spent about 20 minutes with this total. Let me see if this is one of the ones that has sound. Yeah, it is.
Flying north over the Dead Sea, we see the cities of Lachish and Gezer and Shephelah, followed by the highland cities of Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Gibeon, and Bethel. As we continue north over the Jordan River Valley and pass over the Sea of Galilee, we turn to the south and see the Galilean towns of Capernaum and Nazareth. Continuing south, we see Megiddo, overlooking the Jezreel Valley, and pass over the region and city of Samaria before returning to our original vantage point.
So, Rick, you're not using the Atlas to generate that content?
No, this is coming from their content, and at the moment I can't get my video to close. Okay, there we go. No, that's not coming from the Atlas. This is this is a third-party third-party content that we've created this Accordance module from, but we've added, like the audio that you heard with that's all us. And I can show you one that's more impressive here than that. Some of this stuff that's through ancient Jerusalem, things that I I don't know. I guess I've never studied some of the exact layout of the city, and you know, of course, again, you know, what's the purpose for this kind of stuff besides just your own edification? I think for you know, for teaching purposes, I think it would be fantastic. And so what I was looking for. I don't think our table of contents is completely built up yet, but I wanted to show you the fly-through of Jerusalem briefly. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it would take too long, and then I want to show you the temple. Here we go. This is Herodian Jerusalem fly-through. So this is what Jerusalem would have looked like at the time of Jesus.
Approaching Jerusalem's southeast corner, where the Kidron, Hinnom, and Tyropean valleys meet, we pass the pools of Siloam and fly up the Tyropean Valley to the southwest corner of the Temple Mount. Passing under Robinson's Arch, we follow the western base of the Temple Mount, the location of today's western or Wailing Wall, as far as Wilson's Arch. We then turn west and follow the bridge across the Tyropean Valley to the upper city.
And again, you can pause this as you go. So you know, if in a teaching situation, you could show part of it and then talk about it and let it go again. Let me show you the one where the temple was. I don't remember if it was before or after. Let's see. That's Herod's palace. But you know, I always think about stuff like this from the perspective. Here we go. From the perspective of teaching, and I think some of this would just be so very valuable because, you know, we've seen a 1,000 temple reconstructions, you know, and we know the basic parts of it, but you rarely see something 3D like this. Let me find that video. See.
Rick, will you be able to embed these videos in other media, or do you have to play it through Accordance?
No, well, you know, it's kind of a trick. Here's the temple. I don't think that you can do it directly, but if you know what you're doing, you can go to the original title in your files, right-click on it, open package, and pull out the. You know, this is just a video file, so. It will. You could, and that's what I would do. I would embed it like that. So that's one way to do that without having to actually play it from Accordance. You could drop it right into a Keynote or a PowerPoint. Let me. Okay, let's play this one. Oops. Let me click on the video icon.
As we circle Herod's rectangular Temple Mount, we see the walls of the pre-Herodian square platform, surrounded by the colonnaded courts which Herod added. Next, we see the imposing Antonia fortress, where Roman soldiers stood watch over the Jewish crowds in the temple courts. Passing south along the western wall, we fly over the Caponus Gate and circle the inner courts of the temple. The court of the women was flanked by 4 small courtyards devoted to various priestly functions. The massive bronze doors of the Nicanor Gate led into the temple court, which contained the sacrificial altar and the temple itself. Sweeping wide to view the southern half of the western wall, we see the great staircase supported by Robinson's Arch, which led up to the royal stoa. Next, we circle around the southern wall of the Temple Mount to view the broad processional staircase leading up to the double and triple gates. Finally, we circle north along the Kidron Valley for a spectacular view of the Temple Mount from the east.
Cool.
Yeah. So you know, it's kind of like we have our own private drone flying through ancient times. You know, that's one way to look at it. And so there's a, you know, I'm not going to show you all these, you know, but I just wanted to kind of give you a feel of it. Again, I think perfect for teaching situations or just getting a better understanding of some of the geography. Because again, there's topography of Israel, there's Herodian Jerusalem, Capernaum in Jesus' days, Sea of Galilee boat, which is kind of a QuickTime VR deal where you can rotate it on your own, and that's going to be normally it's going to sell for $49.90, but there'll be an introductory price next week of $39.90.
Ooh.
It's released.
And how big is the download?
That has been a good question. we're trying to make, that's one of the things we're trying to make smaller. Right now it's at about 1 gigabyte, but we're working with video compression. We don't want to lose quality, but we want to try to let me turn off my screen sharing. We want to try to make those file sizes smaller, so it's a smaller download. And we're thinking of, for people, this would be great on an iPad or an iPhone, and eventually our Android product when it's released. So we're thinking.
Wait! Time out! What did you just say?
Well, that's been no secret. We're planning an Android version.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you were here when we talked about that, Wes.
I think I missed that
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's not a secret. That's
okay.
That's not a surprise. But anyway, we're talking about working on a version that would stream the videos, so that and probably you'd be able to have either one you wanted to on your device. But if your device is space constrained, you would be able to just stream that content to your device and play it that way.
Yeah, because even on like a MacBook Pro, the Retinas or a Surface, you don't want to necessarily be throwing a gig of multimedia on there that you're not going to be using constantly.
Right.
So,
right.
It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be out Monday.
And you said the possibility is that you'll keep on constructing this.
Well, it's not. We don't own it. Like I said, we got permission to edit it. So we made a few tweaks here and there and added the voiceovers, which I think helps a lot, rather than having to follow a separate description as you go over it. But if they add stuff to it, I would presume that we would continue to add to it.
Cool. And who's doing the narration?
The narration was done by David Lang.
Oh, okay.
Who works for us.
It was really, really nicely done. I love that the temple fly through.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's having a drone going through ancient times.
That is pretty cool. The source again. I must have been sort of moving when you said that, but if you don't mind, just repeat that.
Let me go. I can put it back on the screen here too. Here. Okay. It is. Says reconstructions produced under the direction of Dan Warner and Jim Strange in consulting with Lean Rittmeyer. Animations by Joshua Weathers. And let me see if our About has anything on here yet. Yeah, that's more than what it had in the earlier version. Same information, basically. Virtual Bible founders.
So the copyright is literally the Virtual Bible.
Yeah, it's yeah, and like I said, some of this content has. I'm pretty sure some of this content has been in other Bible software, but it's not going to have the narration. It's just going to be a silent flyover.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's really cool. I wonder if, Kevin, that would be an interesting couple of guys to get on to talk about the development of all the models for that.
Yeah.
You have anything else on that?
I'm not sure if he heard your comment, Wes, but no, I just wanted to do a quick show of it, and like I said, that'll be out Monday.
I really do think. I think that would be very worthwhile to bring the folks who put that together and bring them on and have them talk about what they used to create all the 3D models and the archaeology that they used for it. I think that would be really. I'd find it fascinating, but I'm a nerd.
There's a lot of people that did that, Wes. There's a lot of folks. I had to go back in my notes. Back in 2011, Mr. Whitmire and a few other persons were talking about this project.
Mm-hmm.
They were quietly working on mapping the entire world. There's a really neat endeavor where persons are just basically they've mapped everywhere that missionaries have gone and have mapped the history of it, and they started working together with publishers to put stuff together. On some computer or memory drive of mine, I have like 32 gigs of maps that one guy sent me. That is just absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into building those. And that's even before you talk about the modeling and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
really
the modeling alone takes a huge amount of time. But the archaeology and everything, I think that would be a fascinating discussion. So.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, cool. Well, since LaRosa didn't make it on today to discuss with us his project, he's doing a project with OwnCloud and setting up his own cloud storage and backup. I guess we'll just open it up to a free-for-all, and anything that you guys that was kind of at the top of your minds this morning as we begin this month of July.
Yeah, I got one. I am late getting there, but there's a course that's called the Mobile Ministry Forum course, or Mobile Ministry Consultation. Every quarter, 4 times a year, there's a 6-week course that's run, and this course is actually in its 4th and final week right now. I'm the 4th week, one of the 4th week moderators. But it's a really neat course, really fast, really easy course that basically helps any leadership level persons get their heads wrapped around mobile technology and how it's been used in missions and media, trends, and all that good fun stuff. Kind of packaging all that really good fun stuff I've done for the last 10 years and putting that available for a bunch of folks. So we're right now in our 6th cohort, and like I said, the 4th week, and that class is going on right now. It's really cool. They're talking about mobile websites, which I always find is a really cool time to talk. 6 classes ago, when we talked about mobile websites, folks got really like, mobile websites, blah. And now all the data coming out showing that, there are more people on a mobile phone using the internet than there are that use a desktop. It's neat watching transformations like that happen and the conversations that go with it. It's pretty cool stuff.
Antoine, for just doing web design and web development, what do you feel, or how do you feel the current responsive design tools? How are they handling this migration to mobile and smaller screens and multiple size screens, I should say?
I hate responsive design, which sounds really weird, but I kind of do. There are several tools or several methods, if you will, several roads that you can go down. It really depends on the type of content that you are putting forth on your site. For many churches, ministry organizations, most of us have really just a pretty much a brochure website, and so the idea of responsive design really begins and ends with build it so that the majority of your audience is going to be able to find you. So using simple enough text, simple enough graphics. You don't need to get mom's nephew's Flash designer and build you some big obscure looking website. You really just want to be found, and so you want to build the most simple, quick loading item as possible. As sites get larger, as ministries get larger, obviously there's going to be a content management system running behind, and all content management systems handle responsive websites very well. Not all of them do it in a light manner. So some responsive websites are heavier than others, which that's just something that the tools are working through right now. It's still a little bit of a challenge, for smaller shops, smaller teams, smaller organizations to build their own responsive site. But there are several good templates and content management systems out there to really help that process along the way. So it's good stuff.
For those who may not understand what you're talking about, what does that mean? That phrase, responsive design.
You want me to take it, Antoine, since I brought it up? Responsive design is people are now viewing web content on different size screens and sometimes side by side. So you have your traditional like laptop or desktop computer screen, most of which are widescreen at this point. And then you have the tablet size screens, which are generally, they do an okay job showing full web page design. And then you get onto something like this, although this is now considered small by modern phone standards. And a desktop website on a screen this size isn't often considered functional. The fonts don't adjust to be readable. The graphics go out. You have to do a lot of horizontal scrolling and not just vertical scrolling. And so what responsive design does is it moves everything so that it'll fit on that screen, and it stacks things in that vertical format so that you can scroll up. And I think what Antoine's talking about is you want to be minimalist when you're doing responsive. You don't want to have to scroll 4 billion pages in order to see all the content on the site. You want to have the most important things right at the top and in people's faces and easily intuitive as to what they do with. And then, you can scroll down and you can put your little thing about and contact and stuff like that down there. And that's kind of responsive design. And there's a lot of good tools that do that now. WordPress does that really well with a lot of their themes that you buy. And on Mac, at least, if you want to build a static website, one of the greatest tools that I like using is called RapidWeaver, which handles responsive design really, really well. But it's something you need is because more and more people are viewing stuff on this rather than on a big screen. Did I handle that okay for you, Antoine?
Yeah, you did right, man. The only other thing I'd add in there is you mentioned context as being the most important thing, and if everybody thinks back, 10 years when everybody and their mama finally realized that they need to get a website for their church, and we would put all kinds of fancy finagled doodads and linkies and copy and paste the bulletin to make sure that goes on there and all that good fun stuff, and then you still had visitors still saying it was really hard to find your site or really hard to find the address or your times, things of that sort. The evolution of search engine marketing and evolution of website design has kind of led responsive design. A website fits the context of what your audience is looking for. If you're one of 2 churches in the city, make sure you're easily found on Google or the white pages. If you're large mega church, it's important that we know who your pastor is, but it's more to start. So those kind of things have really played a part in making responsive design make some sense. But it's kind of evolved from the word responsive to contextual design, and mainly because of what Mr. Rick has on his wrist right there, what most of us have on our wrist, that idea of a smartwatch and being notified about something that's happening is more important than going out and searching for something that's happening. That's the twist or the evolution in website design. That's pretty neat.
Thanks. Just one thing, and I think actually, unless one of you guys have something else that's just hot on your mind, we may go ahead and end this short. But before we do that, I want to mention, some of you who follow me because of my writing in Christian Computing Magazine, and I think I mentioned here a couple of weeks ago that Outreach Magazine bought us out, and along with that, there's been a rebranding. We're now Ministry Tech Magazine, and I think Rick has that website if you want to throw that up there so people can take a look at it. Accidentally had Antoine selected on the here, but so I just wanted to mention that to you if you're interested in checking out our stuff and our columns and my columns. One of the things that we're probably going to be doing a little bit more of is I'm still going to be doing my Bible software focused column each month, but then on occasion I'll throw in some other technology in addition to that. So some months I may have two columns, but anyway, so go check out Ministry Tech. Things are going to get a lot more interesting and exciting for us now that Outreach has bought us. They've got deeper pockets, can do a lot more, can present us to a lot wider audience, and so as a result of that, we may get to see some more interesting things going on. And so I hope you'll check us out over there. It's still labeled Christian Computing Magazine for last month, but that was the last issue of Christian Computing Magazine ever, and from now on it will be called Ministry Tech Magazine going forward. And it's still a free subscription, so if you go to Ministry Tech thetheotek.com and sign up for it. You still get the free. You see the big old subscribe button over there.
I guess I better get my Google Juice working again.
It will, Kevin. Will the subscriptions carry over? Because I've already, I've got the free subscription to Christian Computing.
Yeah, in fact, that's probably the reason Outreach bought us.
Yeah, they wanted the subscriber list. Yeah,
they wanted the subscriber list, and so the magazine came with it. I'm kidding about that. I don't want to be negative about it because it's actually a really good thing. But yeah, I think that's a big reason why they were interested in. This was just another avenue to expand their reach, and so it'll be interesting. At first, to be honest with you, when I first heard it, I wasn't excited about it. I was like, oh, great, what's that going to do? Are they going to pretty much just gobble us up and we'll all just kind of go away? But Steve promised me that that's not at all what they want, that they kind of want to leave us alone and keep us going in the direction that we've been going, but add in some things and, do some cross magazine things, and so some of our stuff might show up in theirs, and some of theirs might show up in ours, and that kind of thing. So it'll be a good thing. Well, guys, I think this is going to be a short one, unless someone else has something they just have on the top of their head.
Well, Rick did something interesting last week, and I know you want to get back to your vacation, but Rick, you got to share. How was it going to where you went?
I'm sorry, what's
Didn't
that?
you go? You went to TWiT, right?
Oh yeah, I did. I did lots of things last week, so I wasn't sure which one you were talking to. Yeah, I did. I haven't had a chance to. I've been so busy that I've let my blog lag the last 3 weeks or so, but I'm going to put a post up. I went to the TWiT studios in Petaluma, and sat in for last Sunday's taping of This Week in Tech. Leo Laporte wasn't there because of he's on vacation. He's on his honeymoon, and I think he's over in Europe somewhere. But Becky Worley of ABC News was the host, and Ian Thompson, and gosh, I can't think of the guy from Tech Republic who was there as well, and then Georgia. Can't think of her last name, from iMore. She was also on the show. But anyway, it was really fun to sit in the studio. They have an amazing studio set up with multiple broadcasting spots, just in in a fairly small place. And Petaluma itself is just it reminds me of my old hometown. It's not like a major tech center of the world, and you just all of a sudden you've got these studios that are kind of on the edge of downtown, and the very, very professionally run. Mm-hmm. And of course security was heavy. They had a bomb scare a few weeks back, and so you have to sign in, you have to wear a wristband, security guard is there to let you in, but it was a great experience. And there were probably, I would guess, around 15 to 20 people in the audience watching the show, and so it's a shame I couldn't see Leo, but Becky Worley did a great job.